Hello, my noble band of outlaws, Outlaw Samurai, and
Geekapidea here. What's up, everybody?
now, as you can tell by the title of the live stream, Geekapedea, hold this.
Oh, cool! I get the blessed one.
Yeah, we made a video a little bit ago.
Yeah, sneak peek. We made holy water.
Yeah, I still have the strongest sword.
Mine's blessed. It can fight demons.
Mine can slay gods and demons.
Oh gosh.
But in any case, so we decided to do this live stream because neither one of us has enough space for full-on Dragonball dima discussion.
Yeah.
So the couple of things we were going to discuss is Geekapedea one, in my opinion, on the Tamagane's weapons and Dragon Ball Daima as a whole.
Yeah. I'm really interested to hear what you think of Daima as a whole first.
Honestly, I like it. I still, as I told you before, OG Super Saiyan 4 is still the better form, in my opinion. At least, I know they're the same form, but design-wise, OG Super Saiyan 4 is always going to be superior, in my opinion.
I agree and disagree. I see what you mean, and you're right. It's hard to beat the original version. But I really like the design changes they gave the new Super Saiyan 4. Like Goku having giant arms, like an actual gray ape. And we see him run on all fours for a little bit. It really, I feel like it ties more into that primal aspect of Super Saiyan 4. And for some reason, the magenta hair really does it for me.
I see where you're coming from, but I still prefer the jet black hair with the kabuki makeup.
Either way, Super Saiyan 4 is awesome.
Just the way that the original Super Saiyan 4 was introduced, I feel like it was more deserved. Because in Daima, Goku was pretty much just given the form to an extent.
Kinda. Basically, in the final episode of Daima, it's explained, Goku explains that he knew he had it in him. He just didn't know how to bring it out. And in Daima, the old Namekian, Neva, he, basically does kind of what the Grand Elder did to Gohan and Krillin on Namek, and he unlocks his potential, and that basically destroyed the last barrier that was keeping Goku from accessing the form.
Now, we've spoken in length of how I don't believe that Gohan deserved the Beast transformation because I said it was practically given to him instead of him earning it. And that could also be translated as me saying, well, do you like the Orange Piccolo? It's like, yes, I like Orange Piccolo. But the difference is it's a similar situation to Goku where Piccolo wasn't necessarily given the form. He was just given access to the form. Because Shenron had even said that eventually Piccolo would have unlocked it anyways.
There's one big thing I disagree on about Gohan kind of just being given Beast. I don't think at first I can understand why you or a lot of other people might think that, but when you go look at Gohan's character arc as a whole, through everything, Beast has been built up for a long time. Gohan, it's always been established this was where Gohan was going. He just needed that final trigger to help him unlock it.
True, but I feel like they kind of cheaped out on the trigger because. And it's honestly, I can't say anything because Gohan's become a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
All right. You can sense ki and you can tell who someone is by their ki in Dragon Ball. How the fuck do you not recognize Piccolo when your 5-year-old daughter and a school teacher, which I hope it's canon, Piccolo's banging, by the way.
Yeah, Pan's teacher.
Yeah. Recognizes him off rip.
Well, she didn't necessarily recognize him. She just heard Pan say, yeah, I know him, and that was all right. And maybe, my thought on that, maybe Piccolo was not purposely did not conceal his energy, so Pan would recognize him. And then he concealed it when going to Gohan. So Gohan would think it was real, but he let Pan know it was him. So she wouldn't be too scared.
I could see that theory, but at the same time, I honestly still think Gohan was just made kind of stupid in that movie.
Yeah.
Because even with his key concealed, like we as the movie watchers could obviously knew that was Piccolo, but at the same time, like the school teacher, even though Pan never said it was Piccolo, we get the sense that she knew it was Piccolo all along because of how bad he is at disguising himself. Like it's kind of, Piccolo's one like funny quirk is that the very few times he ever does try to like disguise himself, it doesn't work out. Piccolo kind of relies on that whole like, you either have to know me personally or be a complete fucking anime idiot side character not to notice that I'm not a part of the Red Ribbon Army. Which, to be fair, most of the Red Ribbon Army, even though they are technologically advanced, are fucking morons.
Yeah, they're all idiots. Especially under Magenta, the new leader in the movie.
Yeah.
He's like Commander Red's son or something.
Back in the OG Dragon Ball, they had competent fighters, if nothing but the personality quirks, like General Black.
And Commander Red.
Yeah.
And wasn't one called Colonel Silver or something?
I think, and then like either Captain or Colonel Blue. But back in the day, until Goku got pissed off, the Red Ribbon Army was an actual threat that presented itself to Goku early on.
We just got on the superhero of the movie before we were starting out as Dima. Which that's another thing. One of the few things I didn't like about Dima, Gohan was not in it. It made no sense. They should have had Gohan.
I'm not entirely opposed to Gohan not being there because, again, I think Daima's supposed to take place before Superhero.
It takes place before they meet Beerus. So it's right after the Buu Saga and like a couple years before Super started.
So yeah, I don't think Gohan would still be training after the Buu Saga.
Yeah, but it'd still be coming hot off the Buu Saga, so he'd still have all that power.
Yeah, but at the same time, Gohan wouldn't be useful because he'd either be sent back to his 5-year-old Saiyan Saga body or his, end of Saiyan Saga body, beginning of Saiyan Saga body. Or he would have just been turned into a baby like Trunks and Gotenks.
Yeah. Or Trunks and Goten.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, though, it would have been really cool to see Kid Gohan again.
Yeah. Back when he was useful.
Though, I love that they got the original voice actor for Kid Goku to come back.
It was like, yeah, that was a good part of the show.
Yeah.
We also got to see Vegeta in Super Saiyan 3, which I don't care what you call it, Vegeta, it's Super Saiyan 3.
Yes, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta looked awesome. What do you think of how they kind of changed how he looks a little bit? Because Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta looks different than how Super Saiyan 3 Goku does.
I didn't really notice much of a difference between the two forms.
Really?
Yeah, except for Vegeta looking like Vegeta with the fucking monkey forehead.
Yeah, but his hair just stands straight up, whereas Goku's flows down.
I didn't actually notice that. All I saw was Super Saiyan 3 kicking ass, so that's all I needed to see.
Here, let me try and pull up a picture for you. There we go. See?
Okay.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, now I remember. It's also much shorter than Goku, but let's be honest, Vegeta's shorter than Goku to begin with.
And people were saying, I was reading, it's actually based on one of the old concept designs for Super Saiyan 3. And looking back at the old concept art, this was how Super Saiyan 3 was supposed to look for everybody. But Toriyama changed it when he finally drew it in the manga.
Well, to be truthful with you, Toriyama, if he had had his way and the editors hadn't pressured him, would have never actually drawn Super Saiyan 3 to begin with. We would have just left off with Super Saiyan. Because originally, for those of you who don't know, Toriyama never wanted to make the Cell arc, the Buu arc. He wanted to end it all with Frieza. That's why Frieza was supposed to be so fucking powerful.
Well, there's kind of a little bit more to that. He was okay with continuing the Cell saga. But he was burned out by the Buu saga. And he wanted Gohan to be the protagonist.
Yeah.
But he switched it back to Goku for 2 reasons.
One, the fans were being fucking bitches and wouldn't let Goku just. Goku had up till that point, Goku was still A, intelligent, and B, he was battle weary. Let the fucking dude rest.
Yeah, but there's another reason why he didn't retire. Toriyama changed his mind last minute. I was reading Toriyama, actually did change his mind last minute, where he said, "It feels weird for Goku to not be the main hero, so I'm gonna bring Goku back."
And I can see that, but also, up to that point, Gohan still had the character development where he could have taken over for Goku.
Yeah. Oh, after Gohan unlocked his ultimate form, he could have more than easily killed Boo. It was confirmed. The only reason why he didn't was because he's being stupid.
Yeah, I don't really think Gohan was being stupid. I think it was more because Gohan was what, 18 something?
He was in high school at that point. He just started high school.
Yeah, so I think it was more a combination of how real life people go through emotional changes in puberty. I think it was a combination of the amount of power he had plus his biology changing, because we don't know how Saiyans go through puberty. They may not go through the same emotional stratum that humans do.
Yeah.
Because look at human males when they go through puberty. They tend to get more violent, more irritable for a short period of time. Basically that cocky, yo, what up, old blood? I'm going to fucking fuck you up. It's yeah. And then they get fucking laid out.
They think they're tough shit.
Yeah. So I think it was more like Goku and Vegeta, not Goku and Vegeta, Gohan. I think it was more like his biology caused him to get cocky, plus the already Saiyan genes that yearn for battle. So his Saiyan blood may have actually come more up to the surface during puberty than it was prior. Because Gohan, if he was still Namek Saga or even Cell Saga, probably would have just killed Boo off rip.
No, maybe not Cell Saga, because he was toying with Cell when he was a Super Saiyan 2.
Well, I think the toying with Cell bit was more just him wanting to torture Cell for what he did to 16. But
yeah, he outright said, "I want to make him suffer for a while."
Yeah. So it wasn't toying with Cell necessarily.
It was torturing him.
Yeah. You killed my friend. I'm not going to let you just get off easy. Especially since 16. I feel like if 16 would have continued living, he would have eventually become a Z fighter.
Oh, yeah. 16 was practically a Z fighter at that point.
16 was, for someone who Jiro feared could destroy the planet, he was kind of actually chill.
Yeah. He's probably one of the more gentle creations other than Android 8.
I feel like if 16 had actually ever gotten to fight Goku, the battle would have gone like this. 16 would have tried to fight Goku. Goku would have held back to 16's level for a while. Then Goku would have probably badly damaged 16. I don't think 16 would have necessarily tried to blow himself up in a fight with Goku.
Unless it was drastic.
Yeah. But the only reason he tried to blow himself up was because, and Bulma, this is your fault, not that I wanted 16 to carry the bomb with him, but there's a reason he has a bomb in him. All right? If I was repairing 16, what I would have actually done is, if I was Bulma, and I know the technology would have existed, is that the second the bomb would have, the detonation sequence for the bomb would be triggered, I would actually his head be jettisoned off of his body, and his robot body lock Cell in a robotic rigor mortis style trap.
Yeah, then blow up.
Yeah, 16 could have always had his body reconstructed by Bulma, and probably would have been built better.
Yeah, Bulma probably would have given him a much better body than Jiro did.
Yeah, especially with the fact she had access to Saiyan technology. Well, hell, you could have did something similar to Cell, and even probably given Android 816 a robot biological robotic body like Cell's. Because here's the thing, Cell is a cyborg. They're all cyborgs except for Android 16.
Yeah.
Android 16 is the only actual android of the bunch.
Mm-hmm. He was just made to look like Dr. Jiro's son. He's not actually his son.
But yeah.
But that was confirmed. Android 16 is visually designed after his son.
Yeah. And I'm still confused on how the hell Jiro has a grandson that's not like in his late 20s.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's Dragon Ball time works off.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got off track again. We were talking about Dima.
Well, it all reverberates around with us.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I feel like Goku's transformation in the original GT was far more impactful story-wise because it was supposed to have been the final culmination of the Saiyan lineage, the final form of the Saiyan, where it's like you harness the power of the Super Ozaru and you rein that in, conquering the beast within to obtain a level of power that no mortal should theoretically be able to attain.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was also very impactful that Goku even said that he was terrified of the power he had obtained.
Mm-hmm.
This is Goku we're talking about. The man who literally eats, sleeps, shits, and breathes
Fighting.
And he said he was afraid of his own power.
Mm-hmm. I do agree. Story-wise, GT had it a lot better. Though, like, I know you probably won't like me saying this, but design-wise, Dima's version's really growing on me. And I might be kind of biased because it's been officially confirmed that this time Toriyama himself designed Super Saiyan 4.
Like, I thought Toriyama designed the original form as well.
Nah. He gave his blessing for it, but it was basically designed by Toei's heads. Like, that, basically the people who in charge of running GT.
I mean, they still gave us a fire form, so...
Yeah. But Dima's Super Saiyan 4 is officially Toriyama's version of Super Saiyan 4.
This may be the one time that I don't actually like the Toriyama design.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I grew up watching the original GT.
Me too.
And I used to fucking love GT. I even used to love the Shadow Dragon arc.
Yeah.
And I still do for nostalgia. But realistically, the Shadow Dragons could have been done a lot better and not had their fights crunched together back to back to back.
And not make it just Goku and Pan fighting them.
Yeah. Like, these things are supposed to be like these climactic final villains.
The final threat to the Dragon Ball world are the Dragon Balls themselves. On paper, it's genius.
Yeah. But you didn't have Vegeta or Trunks or Goten or Tien, Krillin. Hell, I would even use the Namekian Dragon Balls to bring back Piccolo. Had Dende call the Namekians or King Kai.
Well, that would have... Or do like Fortune Teller Baba, have her bring Piccolo back in 24 hours. Because if they fully bring him back to life, then that'd reactivate the Black Star Dragon Balls.
And again, I told you the simplest way to get rid of the Black Star Dragon Balls is just find an unpopulated planet out in the middle of nowhere. That it doesn't matter if it's going to blow up or not because there's no life on it.
That wouldn't matter because it's still connected to Earth. No matter what, it'll always be Earth that explodes because of it.
No, because in the show it said that the planet that blows up is the planet that the wish is made on.
I don't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen GT. I'm not
because Baby, the reason they went out for the first time to get the Black Star Dragon Balls back was to prevent the Earth blowing up, and then Baby used the Black Star Dragon Balls to wish for the rebuilding of Planet Tuffle.
Planet.
Yeah, and sacrifice the Earth to do it.
I want Baby in canon next.
Like, here's the thing I want them, if they're going to go Super Saiyan 4 out with Daima, do the whole GT thing, but with Daima storytelling.
They could do it with Vegeta still.
What planet blows up when the Black Star Dragon Balls are used? The planet that explodes when the Black Star Dragon Balls are used is Earth. All right. What planet... I don't know how to phrase this. If the Black Star Dragon Balls are used on another planet, will that planet blow up? Yes, the Black Star Dragon Balls do pose a significant risk of planet destruction if used on a planet, and not all 7 balls are gathered and returned to their original location within 1 year, according to the Dragon Ball Wiki. The Black Star Dragon Balls will cause the host planet to explode in a year's time.
Okay.
That means that whatever planet that the Black Star Dragon Balls are on when the wish is made, by the wording of the definition, will be the host planet.
Mm-hmm. So like if we did it on Mars, then in a year Mars would blow up.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So that's why I said just take them to a backwater boondocks planet that doesn't matter if it blows up or not.
Mm-hmm.
Make the wish. They'll spread across the whole galaxy. And if it takes 100 years to find 7 Dragon Balls on one planet without a dragon radar, Bulma.
Yeah.
Imagine finding the Black Star Dragon Balls that go across the damn galaxy.
Oh, man. That'd be crazy.
Right? Never have to worry about it until someone else, Bulma, makes a fucking dragon radar, Giro.
Super dragon radar.
Fucking iPad. But in any case, what were we talking about?
We're talking about Super Saiyan 4 in Dima.
Oh, yeah.
Or how they could continue it if they want to implement more of GT style.
Yeah, so we could take, like, the storylines and then spread that shit out more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like if they did the baby one word for, like, bar for bar, word for word, that would be fine.
Yeah.
Pretty much with the pacing and everything in the baby arc.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then I was talking about the Shadow Dragon. I was like, revive Piccolo with the Namekian Dragon Balls. And here's the thing. There's nothing saying that Piccolo couldn't have destroyed or just simply deactivated the Black Star Dragon Balls, because Kami's done it with the regular Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
And the Black Star was originally made when Piccolo and Kami were one Namekian, and what are they in GT?
One Namekian.
Exactly.
But Piccolo's the dominant person. It's going to Kami this time.
Yeah, Piccolo was the original dominant personality in the first fusion, too.
I thought it was Kami.
Huh.
No, it was Kami, because to become Guardian of the Earth, he had to get rid of the evil in his heart. And that evil became King Piccolo. So Kami was the original dominant one in the fusion.
Yeah, but we've seen that Piccolo has access to magic, and with Kami's, and with them fusing back together into the original being, I don't think personality matters as much as the level of power of the original being.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen, like, personalities don't really matter that much in Dragon Ball. Look at Boo.
That's true.
Right? Whether he was a fucking walking tub of lard, an anemic stick, or a kindergarten terror.
Yeah.
Or even a cocky, wisecracking jackass.
Wait, which one was that one?
Super Boo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He still had universal levels of destructive power at his command.
Yeah.
So, here's what I'd have Piccolo come back. I'd keep the Black Star Balls at the lookout.
Yeah.
And then when everything's said and done, like, Gohan begs Piccolo to stay behind this time. And Piccolo agrees, but what are we going to do about the Black Star Dragon Balls? And Mr. Popo comes out and is like, don't worry, Kami created these. So when you were still one Namekian, so it stands to reason that you should be able to deactivate them.
And Piccolo's like, I'm not sure I know how.
Like,
that was mostly Kami's doing.
And then Piccolo, because remember when it even was proven that Nell,
yeah.
For Kinko's, unfortunately not. We don't have the room nor the noodles to do the cutting.
Nah.
But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So Piccolo, when he absorbed Nell told him that he would gain access to not only his, like, ki, but also his knowledge. So by Kami being reabsorbed by Piccolo, Piccolo
his knowledge.
Which means he should be able to deactivate and reactivate the Black Star Dragon Balls, maybe even purging the evil from the Black Star Dragon Balls and giving the Earth a new set of more powerful, non-destructive Dragon Balls. And oh my god, they could use the Black Star Dragon Balls as the Shadow Dragons.
Yes.
Or better yet, the Demon World Dragon Balls are Shadow Dragon.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if they continue Dima, because it's debatable whether they're gonna continue it or not.
Oh, they have to continue it.
Oh, I hope they do, but because it was confirmed, Dima was made with GT fans in mind. So it was kind of the basic idea of GT, but Toriyama made it make sense for the main story. So what if they keep doing that? Like, take GT concepts, but kind of modernize it a little bit to make it make sense in the main story. They could do that with the Shadow Dragon arc, but instead of Earth's Dragon Balls, it's the Demon Realm Dragon Balls that become the Shadow Dragons.
Okay, but there's one thing I don't think that would work.
What's that?
The negative energy required to convert the Dragon Balls.
That is true. In Daima, it is implied that hardly anybody's made a wish, because Neva specifically made the Tamagamis to guard them. And if you want the Dragon Ball, you have to fight them. And it was confirmed that they're so powerful, not even Deborah was able to fight them off. Goku and Vegeta were literally, and Majin Buu were literally the first individuals ever to be able to beat the Tamagamis.
Now, there is one way they could get around this.
What's that?
What if the Demon World, every time you make a wish in the Demon World, because of how much negative energy exists in the Demon World, that the Dragon Balls will absorb vastly more negative energy per wish.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say all you have to do is make 3 consecutive wishes with the Demon World Dragon Balls in less than 100 or 1,000 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll start to convert.
Yeah. I was thinking they could just, like, have someone put a magic spell on them that corrupts them.
Yeah, but who would have that level of corruption with a whole... Because we know that Goku would have instantly destroyed those demon eyes that they found at the fucking gas station.
Or Glorio definitely would have.
Yeah, the most powerful fucking artifact in the Demon World is sold at a gas station.
It's just a knick-knack.
It's like, we need to destroy things.
But, because we know that Dr. Arinsu, the Supreme Kai's sister,
Yeah.
who you like as your waifu.
Okay, we both would smash.
Yeah. And that old lady who made the Majins. They're known to be magic users, so maybe they could. But the Daima finale implied that they're not really malicious.
Yeah, so it would have to be someone of Bobbity's level of malicious or Bibbity's.
Mm-hmm.
And despite what we thought of Deborah, he actually appeared to have been a good leader according to the lore.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was definitely better than his father, because his father was pretty corrupt.
Yeah.
Abora.
Yeah, Abora, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Like they didn't like Deborah, but they preferred him over Goma.
Yeah. Then, which this canonizes that King Yama is actually stronger than Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't really get the whole divine power scale, because King Yama should be weaker than King Kai, who is weaker than this, King Kai, and then you had that planet where all the different Kais gathered, and then you had
Grand Kai's planet.
Yeah, Grand Kai, which in turn should also be weaker than Supreme Kai.
Yeah, they are.
But Supreme Kai is weaker than Doku.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not gonna lie. That never did make sense. Because it was confirmed when Supreme Kai and Kibito used the Pataras, they were still not as strong as Gohan was.
Yeah, and
it was outright stated Gohan was leaps and bounds still stronger than them.
And Deborah was also stronger than Gohan, from what people have said.
Uh-huh. And according to Super, these guys are supposed to be the creation gods. The exact opposites of the gods of destruction.
Yeah, and look at fucking Beerus.
Yeah, he's a moving goalpost. They keep retconning his strength every arc.
So, how is it that the Supreme Kai, literally what is supposed to be the equivalent of like the Jesus of the universe that they're in, because Zeno is like the god.
Or Rimus.
Yeah.
As in Daima, because Daima kind of did a few things that sort of contradicts Super.
Well, what I'm saying is like in the universe that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So Zeno would be like the god. Whis' father would be like Michael, then all the angels would be like archangels.
Mhm.
Then Beerus would obviously be like Satan or the demon, like the gods of destruction would be like the devils
Mhm.
or the fallen or whatever. If we're going to go Christian to Dragon Ball, and then Supreme Kai would basically be the Universe 7's equivalent of Jesus, and all the other Kais underneath him would be like the disciples,
Mhm.
except for that one that betrayed him.
Oh, Zamasu?
I was doing with a Christian metaphor again, but because
like Judas. I thought you were talking still about the Supreme Kais.
I may not be religious, but I know a little bit about the Bible.
Yeah, the Bible.
Yeah, I watched this black comedian. He says, like, and he smacks the screen. And it's like, read the Bible,
No.
or it was no panic button, one of the two.
No.
But in any case, yeah. What were we talking about?
Super Saiyan 4 and the Supreme, and how the Demon Realm Dragon Balls could create shadow dragons.
And then we got into the tangent about why Supreme Kai being weaker than Goku makes no damn sense.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Power levels have never made sense in Dragon Ball. I'm not going to say that. But Super really kind of dropped the ball on it a little bit. Because they're all over the place.
It's like OG Dragon Ball had like a pretty linear power scaling. Like every time a new villain showed up, he's going to be more powerful than Goku. And he's either going to have to fight tooth and nail or come up with a new form or tag team with Vegeta.
Yeah. And it made sense in that case for Vegito to be the strongest fighter in original Dragon Ball, which is confirmed in the original manga. Vegito was the most powerful character.
Yeah. And then you also had Gogeta in Broly.
Yeah. But at that point, they were still non-canon.
Well, Gogeta was made canon when Broly was made canon.
Yeah, I'm talking before Super.
Yeah.
Like the OG Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Because up until that point, every time we've seen Gogeta, which was limited, he was always in Super Saiyan.
Yeah, or Super Saiyan 4 because he was in GT.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the new Super Saiyan 4 looks a lot like Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 with the red hair and everything.
I think that was also like a nod to GT.
Uh-huh. There's a rumor why Gogeta looked like that. The out-of-universe reason is because if they gave him black hair, he would have just looked like Goku, just with a fusion vest. So they gave him red hair to make him look different.
Honestly, I would have preferred if they gave him like the standard blonde.
Mm-hmm. That was originally how it was going to be. Red fur and blonde hair.
Or maybe like orange hair or some shit.
Yeah.
But back on to the main topic at hand, we were also going to discuss the Tamagane's weaponry.
Yeah, the 3 Tamagamis who guard the Demon Realm Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Neva made them to keep people from just getting the Dragon Balls and making whatever wish they wanted.
True, and while I do like the Tamagani, there's a few critiques about the weapon that I have. And this is usually what Geekapidea lets me take over because I'm more
you go ahead.
weapons analyst than he is. First of all, the big-ass hammer.
Oh, that Tamagami 3 had?
Yeah. The first Tamagani we see with the big-ass hammer. War hammers are weapons from history. They're nowhere near that big, but this is also anime. I really got like Thor, like bringing down the hammer. Like, you want me to put the hammer down? It's like, Cap, bad call. He loves his hammer. Gen Alpha will never understand that reference.
No. For Deborah. For the Demon Realm.
For Bibbidi. For Bob.
For Boo.
But no, so while I do like the hammer, I actually would have preferred if they made the hammer head smaller. Like, in proportion to his body, like I know the Tamagani is strong, but that overall weapon is just disproportional. Why the fuck are you just breaking plastic forks?
I don't know.
Like, what is mentally wrong with you? Besides a lot of shit.
I kind of want to try and eat with this. I'm not going to lie.
You see what I have to deal with?
Oh, you're looking up Tamagami number 3?
Yeah. because the hammer is just unproportionated to his body. The overall height is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that hammerhead, I feel like should be about half the size. And if I was going to design a this hammer, I'd actually, then this is going to be a little bit comical here, I'd have designed it like a giant claw hammer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because...
Sorry, I found a photo comparing both Super Saiyan 4s.
And the reason I would say claw hammer is because of the fact that not only do you have the force damage, but like a real world warhammer, you often have a spike or a pick at the other side. You see, that's what you get for being stupid.
I stabbed myself.
Exactly. You also have a pick or a beak on the other side to do piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would have given him. I would have given him a proper warhammer.
Yeah.
I don't need the Warhammer Titan. I just need Warhammer.
I'm looking at these images.
Something like
Oh, yeah.
where you have a actual hammerhead and the spike on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That would have actually made him a lot more deadly than just the classic giant-ass hammer or mallet. Because that thing looks more like a mallet than it does a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong, it was effective. But at the same time, just because a weapon is effective doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
Because you need to have the ability to use it versatilely. You need it to be light, but it also needs to give good damage.
Mm-hmm.
Why bother screaming with the quality this bad? Because we are.
Yeah.
But in any case, as I was saying, weapons need to have a certain bit of maneuverability to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the way Tamagami 3 was using this thing for the most part was just relying on the big-ass hammer to smash Goku.
Mm-hmm.
Which Goku proved that he was far too fast to succumb to.
Yeah.
Now, Tamagami...
Number 2. What did he have? I can't remember.
I think he had the trident.
Yeah, he did. Because number 1 had the spear or the sword or something. I can't really remember what Tamagami 1 had. I love the Tamagamis, though. They're probably one of my new favorite characters. I wish they added them to one of the games.
They'll probably do it later. Now, Tamagami 2, on the other hand, his weapon is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Yeah.
Oh.
Huh. We just got called a slur.
I know. That ain't good language here, Sneaky Jim. Please don't be saying that in the chat.
The way he got away with it was kind of interesting, though.
I know, but I don't like it.
Yeah, that kind of thing you have to kind of let you laugh off.
Yeah.
As we can see, Tamagami 3, he had a trident, which the trident could be useful for capturing an opponent's blade by locking it between the tongs. This kind of reminds me of more of like a bladed axe version of a trident.
Mm-hmm.
So you could obviously cut with it, but because of the 3 points, stabbing would be reduced.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're putting the force over 3 individual points instead of just one solid point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, overall, it's not that bad. I feel like the Triton's just a little too tall. Kingo said rude language. Okay. I feel like the Triton's just a little too tall. I feel like it should go level off at his head or his horn level.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, at least the base of the Triton head. Now, if I was going to change his weapon,
very rude at Kinko's. Oh yeah, they're getting after a Sneaky Jim.
Yeah, he would. Agree. Kinko's and William Glory Hole are agreeing.
Yeah, I agree with you guys too. Sneaky Jim, that's not good language.
Will you just let it go already?
I'm just saying.
Last time I checked, you ain't got no damn tail or blonde hair.
I'm a Super Saiyan, that's why. I'm a Super Saiyan 4, I have red hair.
You ginger, you ain't saying.
Super ginger.
Like,
I'm a Super Saiyan god.
You're the most decrepit god I've ever met.
Exactly.
But again, it's not that bad of a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tamagane 1 actually has the most interesting weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a combination of multiple different weapons I can see the inspirational from. 1 would be a falchion, 2 would be a sword breaker, 3 would be a Bowie knife, and 4th would actually be a bit of inspiration from Trunks' sword.
Yeah.
So as we can see here...
Right, yeah, that's Tamagami 1.
Yeah. The sword has the guard from Trunks' sword, a blade profile similar to that of a Bowie knife. I can get it to focus. A Bowie knife. And the back with all those deep serrations is similar to that of a sword breaker, which is used not necessarily to break swords, but to break a guard, meaning it's used to catch and parry an opponent's incoming blade, more often than not.
What are you talking about, Sneaky Jim?
I think he just wants to do some trolling activities.
Can we kick him out? There we go.
And with that, you have been banned, Sneaky Jim.
Yeah.
Alright. But in any case, I actually have the least amount to say about Tamagane number 1's sword.
Oh, really? I honestly, he's my favorite of the Tamagamis, and he has my favorite of the weapons.
The only thing that I don't particularly like about Tamagane number 1's sword is the serrations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not a fan of serrations on blades to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why you don't see serrations on... You can see how much he trusts me because I'm waving a sharpened blade right next to his head.
Sneaky Jim's back.
Huh. Anyways, just ignore it. But anyway, so...
Keep in mind, he's the only person I trust to wield a sword around me without hurting. Yeah.
It's like, I just bonk you. Don't worry, it's the dull part. But in any case, the reason blades don't have massive serrations down them like you see in anime or like on a kitchen knife is because these have to be able to slice and chop and stab. And serrations can easily get caught on flesh, bone, clothing, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on like a parrying dagger or a sword breaker or something that's used to deflect incoming sword strikes, the serrations can be useful because they can actually grip and bite, allowing you to manipulate it to a degree.
Yeah.
There is an actual Chinese sword breaker, which is an iron rod in the shape of a sword used to do just that, break swords.
Mm-hmm.
But the European sword breaker does not, these serrations remind me of, does not have the mass to actually snap a sword blade.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I had that much of a say because I don't know much about the weapons and how they work. I just thought they looked cool.
Oh yeah. And Tamagane number 1 is the most powerful of the Tamagane.
Mm-hmm. At least I think he's supposed to be.
He is, because he's the final one, because it took both of the Majins to take him down.
No, it was just Majin Buu that fought him.
Oh.
Majin Ku fought him but lost.
Yeah. But in any case, that is the
Your thoughts on the Tamagami weapons?
yeah, sometimes my brain don't want to think.
No, you're good. It's like my brain.
Yeah.
All the time.
Pretty much. But in any case, so what do you want to add to this?
Specifically about the weapons or anything?
In general, we usually go back and forth like this.
Well, you know how much I like to write.
Yeah.
I've been writing my idea for a dima continuation. How it could go next.
All right.
Because, like I said, right now, they're saying Daima isn't planned to return. That it was always envisioned as like a miniseries that Toriyama worked on before he died.
All right, one final hurrah to the GOAT.
Mm-hmm. But if you've seen the Daima finale, it kind of leaves a couple things off. To where it's sort of like conflicting with Dragon Ball Super. For one, Super Saiyan 4. For two, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta.
I'll say they can easily just say Daima takes place in a branching timeline.
That's what I was thinking. And a lot of people brought this up. Have Super be the divine route, where they chase after the god forms. Daima is the primal route,
where they chase after the original Super Saiyan form, because me and Geekapedea have actually come up with this theory about the Super Saiyan forms, and me and him are in agreement that those are actually not forms, they are training precursors.
Or crude recreations.
Yeah.
Like, we think Super Saiyan 4 is actually the true Super Saiyan. So, like, the first Saiyans, when they had the Super Saiyan form, Super Saiyan 4 was the original form. And Super Saiyans 1 through 3 and all their upgrades, those are just like, because over time, when Super Saiyan 4 became lost, the Saiyans tried to replicate it, but the ordinary Super Saiyan forms with the gold hair and everything, those were the closest they could get to recreating it.
Because they didn't realize that in order to obtain Super Saiyan 4, the true Super Saiyan 4, you had to control the Ozaru.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually weird because Saiyan elites are canon to be able to control the Ozaru. They're given training to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that the Saiyan elites would have been the first to fully reign in the Super Saiyan form, but when we say control the Ozaru form, what we mean is being able to basically reabsorb the power of the Ozaru back into your body.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to what they did in GT, where Goku reabsorbed the Ozaru form and regained his consciousness.
And that's not a lot of what the Saiyan elites did. They were they regained their conscience, but they were absorbing the Ozaru's power.
No, they were just relying on the Ozaru to do the work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of harnessing the raw destructive power with it.
Yeah. Though, have you heard another theory? I've read this theory, and it kind of makes sense, but it also kind of doesn't at the same time. It's the theory that Super Saiyan 4 in Daima is like actually a divine Super Saiyan 4. So actually, it's Super Saiyan 4, but instead of mortal ki, it's powered by divine ki, like God ki.
I don't really see how that's possible because Neva isn't divine.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, if we said unlock the form, I could see it.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're saying it's supposed to be Super Saiyan 4, but with Super Saiyan God stacked on top of it. Kind of like how Super Saiyan Blue is ordinary Super Saiyan, but with Super Saiyan God stacked on top of it.
But that would mean that the Super Saiyan 4 transformation would actually be stronger than the Super Saiyan God transformation because you'd be stacked and would throw off the entire power scaling of Super.
That's another thing that it kind of contradicts.
Because if we use...
I remember. Because a lot of the non-canon stuff has actually kind of been implying that Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan Blue might actually be close in power.
I don't get it.
Me neither.
Hey, ID shit. Hey, bro.
Yay.
We completely ignored the comment.
Yeah, our bad.
Yeesh.
What?
We keep getting called slurs.
No, can you please stop? Please. Anyway. But, because a lot of the non-canon stuff, like the games and stuff, they seem to be implying that Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan 4 might actually be close in power. At the very least, they're in the same ballpark.
At least Amanda Higgins was nice enough to stop it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda. But aside from that, it's not that I don't like the idea of Super Saiyan 4 and Blue being close, but I would prefer it much better if Super Saiyan 4 and God were closer.
That was a big... I remember that was a big theory when Battle of Gods first came out. Like, how close they were in power.
Because remember, Blue is just Super Saiyan God.
Well, Super Saiyan, yeah.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I think is more, not so much a form, but more just stacking the Super Saiyan technique onto the Super Saiyan God technique.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably why Goku was able to obtain it so easily.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. They kind of tamed Blue a little too easily.
Yeah, it was kind of like a few, months of training with Whis, and then all of a sudden, boom, Blue.
Yeah. They should have at least... I remember a lot of people saying that Goku should have first unlocked Blue in the Goku Black arc. When Zamasu and Goku Black told him how in their timeline they killed Chi-Chi and Goten, and Goku went nuts.
I could see that. But at the same time, while I do like that Goku pretty much just one-upped Frieza's golden form with his blue form, I feel like if they were going to have Goku obtain a new form fighting Goku Black, then it should have been like Super Saiyan Blue 2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to like Vegeta.
Oh, yeah. Blue Evolution.
Yeah. And Goku would have just called it like Super Saiyan Blue 2.
Mm-hmm. I called it Super Saiyan Blue 2 for a long time.
Bluetooth. Wireless Super Saiyan.
I'm surprised, though, that they haven't unlocked a Blue 2 or Blue 3.
Well, they also learned Ultra Ego and...
Yeah, I guess in that case, there wouldn't really be a point. But have you heard the newest theory, though, that Toyotaro might try and do?
What is that?
If Daima is in the same timeline as Super, which they might have to explain a couple of things to make it make sense. Though some people said that they could just have Goku say he forgot about Super Saiyan 4.
Look, we know that Goku's not the smartest when it comes to anything but fighting.
He's not that dumb, though. He would have remembered.
Yeah, like Goku was actually shown to be somewhat intelligent during the events of Z and Kai, which Z and Kai are the same thing, just without filler, but still.
But the theory goes, if Daima is officially in canon, we see Goku go Super Saiyan 4 again. He might use it, then stack Ultra Instinct on it, and make Super Saiyan 5.
For that to work, what I would think is that... Hear me out. What if Super Saiyan 4 actually takes an enormous toll on Goku's body? Because he would have had Super Saiyan 4 when he first fought Beerus. or it takes Goku a while to transform.
Mm-hmm. Daima did kind of imply that with where he turned into the form as an adult.
Yeah. So it would take Goku like maybe 5 minutes of intense screaming to transform.
Goku has a stroke doing it.
Pretty much, where it takes him a while to transform into the Super Saiyan 4 form. So long, in fact, that he doesn't really consider it viable.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, in turn goes back to training Super Saiyan 3 because at the time, it was his strongest and most reliable form in terms of power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when Goku, in meeting Beerus, I could see Goku, like, in meeting Beerus, think that, like, completely forget about the Super Saiyan 4 since he wasn't training it.
Mm-hmm.
And Goku be like, oh yeah, this is my strongest.
Yeah.
That would be something I could see Goku possibly forgetting the Super Saiyan 4 form. Like, in just the excitement of fighting Beerus. And then when he finds out about God Ki and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and he obtains Super Saiyan God,
Mm-hmm.
which he finds to be stronger than 4, that's when
debatable.
Yeah, debatable, but it's Goku. He's
Yeah.
obviously going to think that God, Divine Ki, is stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he goes off to try to obtain Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan 4
Mm-hmm.
on his own and completely blocks out Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah. I'm just saying, though, in both GT and Daima, Super Saiyan 4 does some crazy ass stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Like, it has, because in Daima, Goku pulls a Gogeta and Broly, where him, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and full power Goma are fighting, they're fighting so intensely it breaks the dimension. Just like what Gogeta and Broly did in the Broly movie.
So that would imply that Super Saiyan 4 is at least on the base power level of Gogeta.
I wouldn't say that, but at the least at Blue, I think.
Yeah.
I think at the very least, 4, which this might go against a theory that I have about Super Saiyan 4, but I think Super Saiyan 4 could have a similar multiplier to Blue or the Potara fusion, because an old guidebook about Dragon Ball GT implied that Vegito in the Buu saga might have been as strong as Goku was in GT as a Super Saiyan 4. So I think Super Saiyan 4 and the Potara fusion and maybe Blue might give a similar power boost.
Perhaps.
That's what I think. But then again, I don't know where it dropped on the floor right there. My theory, I don't know how well this aligns with GT, because I think right now, Daima's Super Saiyan 4 is basically the same as GT's, just looks different. So, like, how it works in GT, I think it's fair to say it carries over to Daima.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think Super Saiyan 4 is a multiplier per se.
That's me neither. That was my theory, actually.
That it's an actual, like, full-on transformation.
Mm-hmm. And that could be why Super Saiyan 4 is kind of often compared to Blue. Because unlike Blue and the other forms, Super Saiyan 4 works differently. Because it's meant to bring out all of your latent power. So would it theoretically depend on how much like potential you have? Because we know Goku, he's got insane potential. That's why he's probably so powerful as a Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah. And also Vegeta as well.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I think. I think Super Saiyan 4, that's just a base.
Mm-hmm.
Like the new base form for a Saiyan once they obtain it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefrom, or maybe, hear me out. Remember when we said that the Super Saiyan transformations were recreations?
Yeah.
What if the Super Saiyan transformations were meant to be used with Super Saiyan 4?
Oh, so like 4, kind of like how God is like a base form. Then
Yeah.
Blue is a Super Saiyan to that.
Exactly.
So 4 is the new base. Then theoretically, a Super Saiyan 5 would be the Super Saiyan to that lineage.
Exactly. And then Super Saiyan 6 would be what we would consider the Super Saiyan 2. And then Super Saiyan 7 would be what we would consider Super Saiyan 3.
Mm-hmm. What would those all look like?
I imagine it would be a similar thing. I imagine it would just be Goku with the hairstyles, but gold and with fur.
That does align with the rumor, because there was a rumor that I was told about that GT was set to continue and Goku would have got Super Saiyan 5 and it would have been gold fur.
So
maybe like Goku's hair stands up like a Super Saiyan, but he keeps the fur, but it all turns golden.
Then like Super Saiyan 7 would be gold
and long Super Saiyan 3 hair.
Exactly.
That would look cool. I'm not gonna lie.
And maybe like the tail would grow longer.
Mm-hmm. We're bringing back Dragon Ball AF, right?
It's like this is a lot of information to try and keep straight.
Sorry.
This is just us having a normal conversation.
Yeah.
Like this is just our nightly conversations. I am here to learn about sword stuff. Unfortunately, I know nothing about Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball is the greatest thing ever made.
Technically, Dragon Ball does also have swordsmen like Yajirobe
and Trunks.
I consider Trunks a sword user.
That's fair. That's kind of. I would say future Trunks is a swordsman.
Yeah, somewhat. Like the way I see a swordsman, like anime swordsman, I break down into different categories: sword user, swordsman, and true swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
A sword user in anime and everything else is someone that will use a sword from time to time but doesn't initially rely on a sword.
Mm-hmm.
A swordsman is someone who fights almost exclusively with a sword but will also use like hand-to-hand and other weapons. Mm-hmm. A true swordsman is someone who fights with nothing but a sword in hand, mm-hmm. nothing else, and always has it on his side.
Yeah.
Oh. Depending on how old you are, Bunny King, you would have had Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Kai, GT, Super.
This is the 10-year anniversary of Super.
Yeah, and now Dima.
Yeah, Dima's the newest one. It just finished.
I am in my late 40s. You should have been around when Dragon Ball was coming out then.
At the very least, because remember, Z came to America first.
Yeah. I'll say, if you want, you can watch the original Dragon Ball anime. It's like 130-ish episodes.
I'd say so. No, about 150.
Somewhere around there. And then, if you don't want to sit through the filler, just watch Dragon Ball Z Kai.
When you get to Z. Dragon Ball Z is the sequel. It's got a lot of filler in it that kind of drags on a little bit. So if you don't want to watch the filler, watch Kai, because also Kai is more faithful to the manga itself.
Yeah.
Because when Z was first getting dubbed, they weren't as accurate to the original version, and Kai is a lot more accurate.
Yeah. And you don't actually have to watch the original OG Dragon Ball before you can watch Kai, because Kai is its own thing.
I kind of disagree. I think you do kind of have to watch the OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I used to think that, but I feel like you kind of have to get the understanding of like how Goku first meets his friends. Well,
yeah, but I feel like the way they did Dragon Ball Z Kai was kind of like, you can watch this and it's kind of like the beginning of a lot of animes where you're shown the main character and his friends and you don't know how they met,
mm-hmm.
but eventually they show like flashbacks and shit throughout the show.
Yeah.
But
it's nowhere near as in-depth as Dragon Ball gets.
Yeah, the prequel.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of people rave about Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I've watched Abridged straight through. I like it, but...
Geekapidea knows my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I like it as a parody. It's not bad by any means. It's pretty good. And for an Abridged series, it's really good. Because they actually kind of implement their own story into it a little bit. But with that said, there's a lot of people who say it's better than the actual show, and it's not. Like, Abridged still doesn't hold a candle to actual Dragon Ball Z.
And I call it an insult to Dragon Ball.
I wouldn't say that. Like, it's funny, but...
But in any case, I don't really like Abridged shows.
It depends for me.
Like the Van Helsing abridged. I've seen a couple of clips of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's satire. Abridged is satire.
Yeah. Like, if it's a character that's already supposed to be, like, a very comedic villain or is a sarcastic asshole like Alucard from the Helsing series, then, yeah. But if it's not supposed to be, like, sarcastic or the series is supposed to be taking itself seriously and you make a satire about it.
Well, that's kind of Dragon Ball because Toriyama was a comedian at first. Comedian first, action writer second. Dragon Ball already has a lot of comedy stuff, even in Z.
Yeah, but the comedy doesn't detract from the fights.
That is true, yeah.
Especially when, like, Goku bites Frieza's tail.
Yeah. I mean, Dima was pure Toriyama. Like, Dima definitely has a bit more humor than Z did.
Yeah. Like the fact that Goku's completely okay with eating insects.
Yeah.
There's one weird thing, though. I don't know why they gave him a tail in Super Saiyan 4 when he doesn't have his tail in Daima.
Yeah, that's another thing that Daima switched from Super Saiyan 4. He doesn't need a tail beforehand to unlock Super Saiyan 4.
And I feel like that would be a crucial part of the transformation, simply because without the tail, you can't transform into Ozaru, so...
Though keep in mind, Vegeta didn't have it either in GT. He
yeah,
didn't
but
have a tail.
Vegeta basically doped himself up on artificial Blux waves to the point where his body had no choice but to transform.
Maybe what Neva did was like something similar, but the more natural way of doing it.
I'll say I don't remember ever seeing moons in Dragon Ball. At least
In the Demon Row?
Yeah.
No, Neva just like created this little energy ball and shot it into Goku. And that was supposed to be like a potential unleasher.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, it's like it knocked down the final barrier that was in Goku's way. Goku would have got it anyway. He just didn't know how to yet. And Neva just kind of killed two birds with one stone for him.
I'm going to plug the laptop in real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll get back to what Bunny wanted in sword content for this. And we'll talk about one of my favorite underrated Dragon Ball characters.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
Piccolo?
No, I said underrated. Think closely. Use the peanut you call a brain.
Don't insult me. No.
It's not insulting. It's accurate.
Yeah.
Starts with a Y.
Yamcha.
I need to beat the shit out of him out of principle real quick.
I like Yamcha.
No, yeah.
Yajirobe.
Finally, after I basically feed it to you on a bone. Yes, Yajirobe, and I shall be right back. Keep the live stream going.
Okay. Yeah, he'll be back real quick. I like Yamcha. Yamcha gets a lot of shit because he's kind of weak compared to everybody else, but he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy, and you just can't help but love Yamcha. So I like Yamcha. I'm sorry. But yeah, Bunny King, if you want to watch order, you got Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Z Kai, whichever you prefer. Then story-wise, Dragon Ball Daima and Dragon Ball Super, even though those are the newer ones. And then Dragon Ball GT. But it's debatable whether GT is considered canon to the story or not. Some people say it is. Other people say it's kind of like its own universe or its own timeline sort of thing. So I guess it's kind of debatable. And plus, Daima is kind of like a soft reboot of GT anyway. So
now, the reason Yajirobe is one of my favorite underrated Dragon Ball characters is that without him, the series would have ended in the Saiyan Saga.
Yeah, because he cut off Vegeta's tail.
I was about to say that, asshole.
Oh, sorry.
Just stab.
Don't hurt me.
Like, stab. Yeah. With one mighty slice. Shah! I think I scared Elvis.
Don't scare my dog.
I ain't gonna hit Elvis. But in any case, with one mighty slice, he cut off Vegeta's tail.
Yeah.
And without him, yeah, we wouldn't have pretty much any of Dragon Ball because they would all be dead.
Mm-hmm. The one time Yajirobe was brave.
Still more useful than Yamcha.
Poor Yamcha. I love Yamcha. GT, somebody told me the GT sucked once. Compared to the others, yeah, GT is the worst, but it's not bad per se. It just has a lot of good ideas, but bad execution.
Good plot, bad writing.
Mm-hmm. By the way, somebody did an edit. Dima Super Saiyan 4, but looking more like GT.
Yes! Yes! This is my Super Saiyan 4! This is it!
I still like the new one.
Fuck you.
See, there's an art of the new one.
There! Okay? Look.
There, look, they're best friends.
The one on the left looks stronger.
That one's got bigger arms.
That one has bigger biceps.
That one's got a thicker tail.
That one has a longer tail.
Yes, but his is thicker.
You're not a Snickers.
I'm a Snickers bar. Oh, look. There's... See, here's Dima's new Super Saiyan 4. It basically looks the same, but instead of having black hair, it's magenta hair. And instead of the fur being crimson red, the fur is magenta red.
Look, I'm not dissing the fur. I want black hair with tabuki eyes.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you. Like, the old version's really good. I'm just saying the new one's growing on me. And they let Kid Goku be Super Saiyan 4.
Maybe one weird thing from GT. I don't understand why he became an adult when he became Super Saiyan 4.
I think that was that way of them saying Super Saiyan 4 was so powerful that it forced him to grow into an adult.
Imagine if Goku was an adult from the time he got Super Saiyan 4.
Oh, gosh. Because theoretically, if GT's in the same canon as the other stuff, which the producers at Toei Animation swear it is, like someone asked them and they said, yeah, GT's canon. So if that's true, GT Goku should be the strongest Goku. GT Super Saiyan 4 Goku should be Ultra Instinct Goku from Super.
Very much. And that's not even the fact that he technically has a Super Saiyan 4 when he got the powers from the others.
Yeah, Super Full Power Saiyan 4.
Yeah.
I just call it Full Power 4.
Precursor to God 4.
Then in Heroes, Goku and Vegeta do like the God ritual on Super Saiyan 4 to get Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4. And apparently that's equal to Ultra Instinct Sign.
Yeah, Dragon Ball power scaling goes all over the place.
It never made sense.
The only way it makes sense is if you're Dragon Ball nerds like us.
Mm-hmm. You just have to shut your brain off and enjoy it.
I mean, we're watching a race of monkey men turn into giant monkeys with blonde hair.
Yeah.
So.
Does Geekapidea have a channel also? Yes, I do.
Yeah, you should be able to find it under the channels I'm subscribed to, or a few of the videos I did with Geekapidea in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You don't post that often.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a slump right now because I'm also in college right now. But I do have something exciting planned for the next couple of videos in the next couple of weeks. Let's just say if you've heard of the game Five Nights at Freddy's, then you'll be pretty excited.
This fucker has everything involving FNAF.
I love FNAF. I'm obsessed with the story. I will solve it.
We did a whole video about me killing William Afton.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, William Afton might be in the new game.
Oh, great. Now they're fucking the timeline again.
No. Okay, the next game is something I and so many other fans have wanted so bad.
Divergent from Dragon Ball to FNAF in 3, 2, 1.
No, sorry, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Oh, you already said something, so you might as well.
Okay. So the newest game, Secret of the Mimic, it comes out in a week from today. So next Friday, the 13th. Yes, they have it on Friday the 13th. They're geniuses. Steel Wool Studios is a bunch of geniuses. But this game is the earliest game in the timeline. It takes place before everything.
Uh-huh.
So we might actually get to see the origins of stuff.
I'm just nodding in agreement.
But yeah, so we might actually get to see a young William Afton before he killed anybody. But yeah, I know you're not as big in FNAF, and probably what I'm saying you don't know what I'm talking about. But
That's my answer.
Anyway, back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Or what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about how Yajirobe saved the entire Dragon Ball franchise. And
Yeah.
then we were talking about another Super Saiyan 4 tangent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku. Will you stop messing with my leg?
I thought you couldn't feel anything.
I can feel the pressure of you.
So that technically means you can feel something.
A little bit, but the nerves down there aren't really working.
I just want to test something.
No. Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku.
Is there something mentally wrong with you? You keep breaking the forks.
I'm bored. Or I'm not bored, but I have to have something in my hands to fidget with. This doesn't count.
Yeah.
No.
Here's the holy water.
No.
Here's the holy cup.
You spit in it. I'm not saying.
That's the holy cup.
But anyway, Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku versus Super Saiyan 4 GT Goku.
Alright.
Who do you think's winning? I mean, sure, timeline-wise, GT would probably win because he's a lot stronger. But if we take GT Goku and put him in Daima's era, power scale and everything, and give him Super Saiyan 4, then have him fight Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who would win? I think it would be a close tie because, like I said, other than the appearance, they're basically the same form.
I think it'd be closer to GT simply because GT is older.
Mm-hmm.
GT's Goku is a lot older, has an additional 10, 15 years of combat experience under his belt. And overall, the experience, and if the power and everything's the same, like these two are complete equals, then it will come down to who has the more skill and technique. Mm-hmm. And I feel like GT Goku is the smartest iteration of Goku.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I remember I was watching a clip when he was fighting Omega Shenron. And Omega Shenron's like, this landscape will be perfect for your grave. And Goku's like, oh, don't worry. We're going to be digging a grave. But I'll make sure to bring you some flowers. He says that to Omega Shenron in GT.
Like, I think the one stupid thing Goku did was like, I'm going to do what you do, and I'm going to eat this.
He ate the Dragon Ball.
It's like,
Vegeta's like, spit it out, Kakarot.
It's like, spit it down, Kakarot.
He swallows it. He's like, are you out of your mind? Yes.
He's like, I thought it would work. Until you realize Omega Shenron was right. All he had to do was rip it out of Goku's gut.
But then it grew on his forehead.
I was going to say, here's what they should have done. Like, the full power. This geekapidea. Okay, we're caught up. Here's what I think they should. I think they should have focused more on knocking the Dragon Balls out of Omega Shenron's body.
Yeah. Could they be able to do that? Because Gogeta was hitting Omega Shenron really dang hard.
Well, I feel like Goku and Vegeta could have done it. I mean, It's not like they're trying to hit Omega Shenron. They're just trying to get the Dragon Balls out of him. And with every Dragon Ball you take out of Omega Shenron, he grows weaker.
Mm-hmm. Plus, when Gogeta fired his Big Bang Kamehameha, it took out 6 of the 7 Dragon Balls. Because he was going to do 2 Big Bang Kamehamehas. The first one turned Omega Shenron back into Sin Shenron. Because it forced all the Dragon Balls out of him. The next Big Bang Kamehameha was going to kill him, but right then he split apart.
And we saw that once the Dragon Balls were separated, they returned to normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's the thing. If Piccolo, I feel like Here's something I just thought of. If Piccolo was there, could he not have deactivated the 6 regular Dragon Balls?
Theoretically, Dende could have. Because at that point, because remember, after Kami merged with Piccolo, the Dragon Balls became inactive. And when Dende became the Guardian, he basically had to, like, edit them.
Yeah.
So Dende could have done it.
Like, I know bringing Dende to a battlefield like that, but at the same time, I could have easily seen, like, Bulma or maybe honestly, I feel like it mainly would be Roshi that would come up with this plan because he's the more mystical of the two.
Yeah. Or have him do the evil containment wave and put Omega Shenron. Yeah. Put Omega Shenron inside a rice cooker.
For those of you who don't know, the evil containment wave...
Or the Mafuba in Japanese.
Yeah. The evil containment wave is a pretty damn OP technique.
It sounds silly because you basically... You're using it to seal someone inside of a rice cooker.
Well, not a rice cooker, just any jar.
Oh. I just remembered that King Piccolo was in a rice cooker.
No, because remember when Piccolo, not King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr. described the technique to Trunks, he had, like, a sake jar.
Mm-hmm.
It's the talisman that does it.
Uh-huh.
So basically what you do is you hold your hands up like this and it creates a giant vortex that sucks anything and everything that's evil up.
Yeah.
Converts it into energy, and then you force that energy into the jar or the container of your choice.
Or like the rice cooker.
Yeah. Which Toyama, rice cooker, Asian, writes itself.
Yeah.
Then you slap the charm onto the container, and it will hold the evil so long as that seal is left on it.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside is, in OG Dragon Ball, you have to give up your life. And I think a lot of the techniques that they say you have to give up your life to use is only because you're physically not strong enough to handle the backlash of them.
Then again, Dragon Ball, they like to retcon stuff just for the sake of, like, convenience.
Because remember, Tien's Tri-Beam was supposed to, like, use up your life or your ki.
But he used it nonstop against Cell, and it didn't kill him.
Yeah, because the point where Tien used it against King Piccolo and the point where he used it against Cell, many, many years, like 20 plus years, went by that time, I believe.
Yeah.
So, in 20 plus years of training, Tien would be more than strong enough to fire that bitch off repetitively. I mean, look at Krillin and Yoshi. They're able to fire the Kamehameha off about 4 or 5 times.
I'm so sorry you said Yoshi. You said Yoshi. It's Roshi.
Like, Mario!
Kamehameha!
What?
I'm here to look for the mystical Master Yoshi.
What if Yoshi laid the fucking Dragon Balls like the 7 dragon eggs?
Yoshi, my Dragon Ball!
Yoshi, my Dragon Ball!
I love Yoshi so.
We swear we are not on drugs.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No,
let me just get let me get the good bong.
No, we don't actually have that.
Unfortunately. So even the techniques that, like, say you lose your life, I don't really feel it's a retcon, more as like, okay, so they're more powerful than they were, so the side effects of the technique no longer affect them the same way. Because remember, in OG Dragon Ball, Yoshi could only fire 1 Kamehameha before he was tapped out. And later on, he could fire off multiple of them bitches, especially in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we all know Yoshi was a GOAT in the Tournament of Power.
Yoshi.
Roshi.
He was the 3rd person to get knocked out of the arena.
Yeah, but the way he did it.
He jumped off.
He didn't jump off.
Or Vegeta pushed him.
I think Vegeta gave Roshi mercy.
Or Vegeta told him to. He's
Look.
like, be real, old man, you're done. Yeah, I'm done. And he gets false.
Look, Roshi's still like, listen well to the words of your teacher, your master. Eat, sleep, drink, eat, and all the other things, and study hard, and that's the Turtle Hermit way. Kamehameha, fuck you!
He said Roshi this time. Roshi is Jiren!
Outlaw step ceiling.
Roshi is Jiren!
Is that how he actually sounds?
I think. I just hear him say, Yoshi!
This fucker could be the next voice for him.
Nintendo, if you're watching, cast me as Yoshi.
And then give me the royalty checks.
No, I'm getting the payment.
Hey, I'm the one who recommended you.
I've got the voice. You've got the checks.
I was like, I'm afraid.
I'm terrified for my life. Like, you seen the trailer for that new Pixar movie, Elio?
No.
Where this kid from Earth befriends an alien kid whose dad wants to take over the Earth, and they're trying to convince the dad to not blow up the Earth.
That reminds me of the song, Oli, 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 Oli.
But there's a scene in the trailer where they're calling the warlord and the son's there, and he's like, "Hi, Dad, I'm a bargaining chip."
I feel like that would be you.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm about to fucking throw down the gauntlet with these aliens, and then you're like, I was abducted and probed.
I've got an anal probe.
And you liked it.
No, I didn't. Yes, sir.
Shit come out of Yoshi's not going in.
Don't die, man. Yoshi got something up his ass.
Yoshi got syphilis. Yoshi got endometriosis. I swear, if I was a D&D wizard, I would be casting curses like that all the fucking time.
I'd be Lord Yoshi. I'd just be Yoshi. Yoshi cast super spell.
Yoshi cast COVID. Yoshi cast social distancing. 6 foot. This has gone so far off the fucking rail.
I know. Yoshi. A bunch of people left. We only got 2 people left in the screen.
We only had 4 people left before.
But 2 people left. They didn't like our Yoshi.
Why are you ragging on our Yoshis? Our Yoshis are very raggable, okay? We're average Yoshi size. Okay? His is dysfunctional, but my Yoshi works.
I sound like a heart attack. You're spooking Elvis. Elvis! Hey, yo, buddy.
He's fucking all the way over there.
No. Well, that's about all I got.
Yeah. This has just turned into a random ass bullshit live stream.
Yoshi!
Mario!
Are we gay?
Like, Bowser.
Peaches.
Fuck your peaches.
I like peaches.
I have come for the war. Alright? I have come for the dough, not the hose. If I was Bowser, I would just say, fuck Peach, I'm taking over this bitch. Like, that's the one problem he has. He's too busy trying to lay the damn peaches to just conquer everything and then take the peaches. It's like, you don't need to woo peaches. Just take over everything and then take what you want.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, that's just classic ruler / dictator / conqueror mentality. Look at Genghis Khan, Napoleon.
This is Bowser. This
Again,
is Nintendo.
Let me continue. Rasputin, Hitler. They all did the same thing. They took over a large-ass area, and then they took what they want. Alexander the Great, the Roman Empire.
Oh, gosh. What about Frieza?
I don't really think Frieza gives a shit about sex.
No, Frieza is just evil. He just wants to kill people.
Frieza's just Dragon Ball's version of Hitler.
Yeah.
Outside of that episode of GT where they actually revived Hitler.
No, that was in Fusion Reborn, the movie.
Oh, I thought that was when 17 opened the portal of hell.
Nah, they're kind of similar because Fusion Reborn is also hell coming to Earth, but
yeah, different
circumstances.
Man, until next time, I know a band of outlaws, outlaw samurai, and
Geekapidea here. Yourself.
Mario! Until next time, we're out.
Yeah.
Peace.